Good afternoon. Today is Thursday, September the 24th. Today in pre-calculus, we're still looking at nonlinear inequalities. So I'll share the screen and show you an example of one of the problems we worked today. We have an inequality which is 1 over x is greater than 1 over x plus 5. Now, the first thing we do with something like this is we bring everything onto one side. So I'll go ahead and erase the greater than sign here. I'm going to move the greater than sign over here. This is going to be 0. So this right here will be now a minus sign. Now, once I've got something like this, then I've got to get a common denominator. Anytime I have fractions, I get a common denominator here on the left side. And my denominator is x times x plus 3 so greater than 0. And remember, in the numerator, I've got to multiply this first by x plus 3. So that's x plus 3. And I got to multiply the second one by x, so that's minus x. So what you notice here is that the x's cancel, so I end up with a 3 on the top. And an x times x plus 3 on the bottom. And that's going to be greater than 0. Now, when I have something like this, notice that the numerator is always positive, it's never 0. So there's no point where this graph crosses the x-axis, so I don't have to worry about that. So I draw myself a line here, and I split it apart for the points where the curve crosses. So I have a minus 3 here. I have a vertical asymptote, so I have a point of discontinuity at x equals 0. I also have a point of discontinuity. So I can look, I basically have 3 regions here. I have one region here, I have one region here, and I have one region over here. So what I have to do, I pick a point in each one of these regions. So like, let's say I pick minus 4 out here, which is in this region here. And I'll circle it just to let myself know that it's the point I picked. And I go back up here to the original function. So I stick in minus a fourth. So I got a minus a quarter minus, and then what have I got? I got a minus a quarter minus, if I put a minus 4 in the bottom, I get a 1 over minus 1. So 1 over minus 1. And that is equal to 3/4, which is greater than 0. So that means this region out here to the left is a good region. Okay, I put a check mark there, right? Now, if I put in a number here like -1 in this middle section here, then I come over here, substitute in, and 1 over -1 is -1. If I got I put in a -1 here, I got 1/2, -1/2, and that is not greater than 0. So I put my slash through it. That's not greater than 0. So that means this region here is not a good region. And I can pick a point here to the right. Let's say we pick 1. That would be easy. So we pick 1. We go back over here and we can do it up here. So 1 over 1 is 1 minus 1 over 4, which is 1/4. That is greater than 0. So that's a good region. So I put a check mark there. So my solution set here is x is less than -3 or x is greater than 0. So this is a typical type of problem that we're working with when we're doing these linear inequalities. So if you take a look at your homework, now there's one other problem here. Let me just kind of show you this one. If we erase everything that's here, so we erase everything that's here. Somehow I'm going to erase everything that's here. All right, so we don't erase everything that's here. Okay, so let me just come back over here to my draw command. And if you look at something like, let's say we have a square root of x squared minus 9. And we want to find out what the domain of this function is. Now remember, if you have a square root, the number underneath the square root's got to be positive. So if I look at this graph here of x squared minus 9, it basically is a parabola which comes down like this. It opens up, it comes down like this, crosses at -9, and it goes back up. So this is 0, -9. And if you factor this, you find that this point right here is 3, 0. That's 3, 0. And this point over here is -3 and 0. So this parabola underneath the square root sign here is positive to the left of -3, and it's positive to the right of +3. In between, from -3 to 3, it's not positive. So the domain of this function would be x less than or equal to -3 or x greater than or equal to 3. The key point there is whatever's underneath that radical sign's got to be positive, so you can figure out where it's positive and go from there. So once again, try your homework problems. If you have any questions, send me an email and let me know where your questions are, and I'll get back to you.